Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharyamadhyamam Asmadacharyaparyantam Vande Guru Paramparam Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhangine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Sri Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Saddarshanam. Okay. Once upon a time, this was a very, very popular text. But recently, very few people have been talking about it. So I'm sure all of you have heard about Bhagavan Ramana. Okay. Tiruvannamalai. So once some devotees came to him and asked him to write about the reality. Because Ramana rarely taught. People would go to him, sit down in front of him, feel his peace, feel his energies, and sit and meditate in front of him and go. But he has written 2 books. One of his devotees, I think it was Ra Ganapati, was translating the Shiva Puranam, an abridged form, into Tamil. So there came to a section where Shiva is teaching the rishis. So he told Bhagavan, please sum up that teaching. So that became Upadesha Saram. Again, most of you must have heard about and done that text also. So that is Upadesha Saram. This is an independent work. It was first written in Tamil. Both the works actually were first written in Tamil, called Ullada Nalpada. The reality in 40 verses. That was translated into Sanskrit by Kavya Ganapati Muni, or is also called as Ganapati Muni. He translated this. He was a great devotee of Ramana, a Sanskrit scholar. He translated this into Sanskrit. So we are dealing with the Sanskrit version. Okay. And as a language, Sanskrit is meant for the Shastra, yeah. So that's where the things come. I'm not going to go too much into the story of Ramana, etc. All of you know it. Most of you know that. Even people who are from abroad, they know about Ramana. Ramana is very, very popular that way. In fact, have you heard of an old English writer called Somerset Maugham? It's an old English writer. Okay, Somerset Maugham. Those who are 70, 80 plus would have read some of his books. Okay, younger generation, I don't expect to have read much unless you are into English literature or something. Yeah. And he has written one book called The Razor's Edge. And he writes there, I have not understood everything I've written. Because he's writing about a person who was an ace, a veteran of World War I. He was a fighter pilot in World War I. Then he came to India searching for the truth. That experience of war can either, nowadays people go into post-traumatic stress disorders. Our time, it triggered thinking in us. Okay. We didn't go into stress disorders, post-traumatic stress, we didn't go into. But many of us, it triggered questions about life. And he came to India and finally met Ramana Maharshi. And he stayed in the ashram for a long time. So about him, Somerset Maugham writes. So in the Western world also, Ramana is quite well known. And of course, a lot of people had come, spent time at the ashram. So I'm not going to go into all these details and stories. Okay, I'm not going to go into that. Okay. Is some people missing? No. Is Martin here? Oh yeah. Modi is also there. Because here the light is more on the speaker than on the audience. I like to see. Okay. So this book, Saddarshanam. Darshanam, the vision of Sat, the reality. Yeah, Saddarshanam. And he starts with a bang. The first verse is enough for speaking at least 3 days. Okay. He says, would you like to chant? Okay. Sat pratyaya kinnu vihaya santam hriddeshu chinta rahita hridakyaha katam smarami stam ameyamekam tasya sprati tatra drideva nishta. Okay. Sat pratyaya. Pratyaya, thought, perception. Without or pratitedi, that which is known. Without the Sat, he says, kinnu vihaya santam. Without Sat, the existence, can you know other forms of existence? Without existence, can you know forms of existence? Without understanding cloth, can you understand dhoti, angavastram, kurta, kurti, shawl, pant, shirt, leggings? Salwar. If you don't understand cloth, can you understand any of these things? Without understanding gold, can you really understand ornaments? Very, very funny situation in India, especially. Okay. South India, especially this Chennai, holds 13% of the world's gold reserves in private hands. So, can an ornament, bangle, chain, etc., exist without gold? So, the question is, without the content, can the form exist? What you call a chain is nothing but a form, no? Because gold can exist in any. The Guru used to play, get big this out of it. Imagine this is a chain, okay? This is a chain. It's a golden chain. Okay. With respect to the chain, where is the gold? Is gold in the chain?
True and true.
No, Swamiji, gold is the substratum. Table, bottle kept on top of it. Is gold and chain like that? No adhara adheya bhava, for those who are getting into the technicalities. No adhara adheya bhava. In fact, the gold is the chain. Na? The gold is the chain. You remove the gold, where is the chain? Let us say, as an example, I have a student in Bombay. He's a jeweler. So he said, Swamiji, you must come to my shop and bless it. Aaja, aa jayega. I said, come. All right. And I said, Swamiji, you come to the shop. I'd like to give you one thing. What would you like? I don't even tie my Rudraksha in gold. What am I going to do with that? He wants to give me something. But be careful when you offer sadhu something like an option like that. You get into trouble. I said, okay, I'll only take one thing. Your gold, ornaments, like chain, bangle, etc. What will I do with it? As a sadhu, I don't even have a girlfriend to give it to. I can't wear it. कि चूड़िया पहनाना कहेगा to say it in Hindi. Chain, etc. What chain? Okay. I will take the gold. You can keep everything else. What will happen? I mean, gold is useful. We are putting up an ashram in Bombay. So that costs money. So gold will be useful. I can sell it and get that money and build an ashram where all of you can come for camps. You can have full-time students, everything. Take the gold. What is he left with? Poor guy. He offered me one thing and he became a pauper. Just an example, okay? Just an example. The form of ornaments are nothing but form. Content is gold. So look at how our language is evolved. Noun and adjective. Correct? An adjective describes a noun. Noun is a reality. So we say golden chain. What is the adjective there? Golden. What is the noun? Chain. But the reality is opposite. No? Reality is gold. So gold should be the noun and the adjective should be chain. So it should be chainy gold, bangly gold. Right or wrong? But our attention is on the form, therefore language evolved like that. Because form is based for function. And all the time we are function oriented, karma oriented, action oriented. So our attention is always on the form, not on the content. So even though Diwali, ladies will say, I want to go and buy some gold. What are you buying? Want to some gold? Yes, Swamiji, isn't it a good investment? And buy a biscuit and keep it at home. No? Even that's a form, but at least buy a golden biscuit and keep it at home. No. You'll buy a chain, you'll buy the... So you pay extra, making charges. Nowadays, jewelers have started offering concession, not on the price of gold, but on the price of making charges. So you know how much loading can be there. But when you go to sell it back to him, what happens? He is buying gold. So he will weigh the ornament and pay you for that. He is not going to pay you making charges. He is buying gold. You are buying ornaments. Your attention is on the form. His attention is on the content. Therefore, he profits. So now, same thing, cloth and angavastram, dhoti, kurta, all that. So in other words, without the content, there is no form. Correct? Without the content, without the material, if you want to use a simpler term, material, there is no form. And this is something that understanding what is the material has been a human pursuit for a long, long time. We all wonder, what is this creation about? Where did it come from? Is there anything behind it? So, sometime in our life, all of us have wondered about it. The poets also wonder, and they write poetry, and if they manage to sell some of it, they'll make some money. The scientists are smarter. Somebody pays them to wonder. The theoretical physicist. The theoretical physicist also wonders at the world. And somebody pays them to wonder about the world. Good job. Yeah. Of course, you have to wonder about it in a mathematical language. That's where the catch comes. Yeah. And by the way, the first theoretical physicist was the Nyaya Vaisheshikas, okay? 3000 BC India. Nyaya Vaisheshikas, the Vaisheshikas was the first person to propound the theory of atoms. Okay. Yeah. And that apart. Now, Ramana cuts across the whole argument. Says, without existence, can there be a form of existence? Why? My old example, all of you know this. What is this? Book. So I am picking up one form of creation, one form, book, and trying to look into the reality, what is behind this book? What is the content of this book? What is the reality from which this book has come? Book, nothing but papers. In fact, this is a makeshift book, which we just put together for the camp. If I remove these two staplers, there's only a sheaf of papers. Since we didn't want to make you uncomfortable by giving you a sheaf of papers like this, easy to carry around. So we made. So book is a form, santam, form of existence. Paper pratyaya is the reality. Paper, the perception of the paper is the reality. Book becomes santam, a form of the paper. Referring to the words of the Shastra. Okay. So book is a paper is a reality now. Book has disappeared into paper. All right. So is paper the reality? Once upon a time, this was a tree, wood pulp. Correct. So paper disappears, book disappears into paper, paper disappears into wood pulp. Is wood pulp the reality? Wood pulp is some molecules put together, no? And what is the molecule? It's a hydrocarbon. I don't want to go into molecular structure, etc. It's a hydrocarbon. Is hydrocarbon the reality? Look at it. Now the wood pulp has disappeared into hydrocarbon. Is the hydrocarbon the reality? It's a molecule made up of atoms. Molecules disappear into atoms. Reality is atoms. Atoms are reality. It can be reduced into, I think the last count was 132 particles. You remember in school we studied atom is a single indivisible unit of matter. It's still continuing. But when we studied that, the atom had already been split. Technology had also developed. Nagasaki and Hiroshima was bombed. But we still continued studying that. So, 132 particles. And they spend millions of dollars to see if there's any shorter particle, God's particle. It's got nothing to do with God. One scientist working on this matter said, "Where is that goddamn particle?" I mean, in scientific research, frustration is high. And any research, frustration can be. Research, I don't mean doing a Google search or an AI search. That's not the research I'm talking about. That's not research. That's just Googling it. Where's the goddamn particle? And a journalist picked it up and said, "God particle." Okay, the God particle. And I know somebody who's associated with that. They're saying, what will happen if you find it? Oh, Swamiji, then much more research and all things will open up to find what is behind that. And if you don't find it, then even more questions will come up. It's good. A lot of people can earn their PhDs. Now look at it. So at any time, you're giving me a more fundamental particle, right? A particle is what? A form of existence. It's existing, no? Look at it. Don't say it's not existing. I'll whack you with this. We started with this. If I whack you with it, it'll hurt. Okay. So you can't say non-existent. Can you say non-existent? It'll disappear. Then book should not appear. Non-existent means there's nothing there. From nothing, something cannot come. From something, something can come. So now, however small the particle is, so now these are all nanoparticles. It can be reduced into something further. So, if at all, conceptually you are looking at it, this is one way, the other ways also. Conceptually, if you are looking at it, what will be the final thing? Something that exists but does not have a form. Because if it has a form, I will resolve it into content. I'll go further into content. That means what? Formless existence is the reality behind book. Formless existence is the reality behind this book. And when you mean formless, what do you mean? Not amoeba. Amoeba is shapeless. If I'm not careful of my food and exercise, I'll become shapeless soon. Formless means no boundaries. No boundaries. No boundaries means what? What is the limit of it then? It's formlessness, limitless. Sat pratyaya. So limitless existence is from where this book has appeared. There may be processes for it, that's okay. That process we'll deal with later. Cloth, same thing. No? What will happen? Cloth will become yarn, yarn will become again hydrocarbon, because we are living in a hydrocarbon based world. Back into the same thing. Taking a mirror, silica, same thing, atoms, particles. Silica is not hydrocarbons. It's just... Finally, what will it be? The final reality behind any form that you see, any form that you can conceive, will be what? Sat existence. Any form you can conceive as a thought. That's why I say Sat Pratyaya. Those who are attending my Brahma Sutra classes, go back and look at the meanings of Pratyaya I given you. 3 meanings, right? Pratitiyati, pratiyateti, all that. check up. I don't want to confuse everyone with that now. Here. A thought. Where does it die down into? Where does it come from? Me. Dies down into me. What is that? Sat existence. But Swamiji, you are a conscious entity. Now, look at it. I can go from here also into that. Okay. So the final particle that you have thought about is only a concept. In fact, okay, let's go back to the particle. The moment after electron, etc., it's all nothing but energy. In fact, there's big debate. Is an electron a particle or an energy? So finally, the conclusion was, when it is not under observation, it's energy. When you observe it, it becomes a particle. So I was joking with this guy, with the scientist friend of mine. Yeah. The electron gets very self-conscious and freezes when you observe it. So it becomes a particle. When you don't observe it, it's free-flowing wave energy. That is not how it is. An observation is a small event in time. It's a moment. So let us say I'm moving my hand, wave motion. If someone with a camera shoots it, what will they get? They shot at this moment, a frozen moment. Is this the whole thing? No, the whole thing is here. Figure of 8, limitlessness. Okay, sign of infinity. But frozen moment, snapshot. What is it? It looks like a frozen moment, particle. Otherwise, wave. Okay. And what is the energy guided by? This mind. Prana Shakti, Prana by Manaha, my mind. Mind is what? Nothing but thoughts. Where do the thoughts come up? In you, the consciousness. Dies down into what? You, the consciousness. Is there a thought without you being conscious of it? So what we call Sat and what we call consciousness is what? One and the same thing. Another way of doing it would be the old question, who am I? I'm the one who's aware of the body. No, the normal inquiry in Vedanta will be, who am I, isn't it? Who am I? Simple. What you see is what you get. If it starts with the body, I'm happy nowadays. Why? Because you ask someone, hey, who are you? I'm so and so, to give the name. That's just a name. Were you consulted before you were given that name? Even sadhus are not consulted, okay? Your guru gives you the name, you accept it. Yeah. I remember Shivratri having a dip in the Ganga for when you take sannyasa, you shaven off your head, everything. Having a dip, then you get up. Only time streaking is allowed in India. Because everything you wear, you throw into the Ganga. If you're wearing a watch, throw it in. Wearing a mala, throw it in. Wearing clothes, throw it in. Everything goes into the Ganga. Sannyas-toham. Then the first pair of clothes your guru gives you. You wear it right there, okay. Then you don't have a name. Name is also given. Then you are given a name. Who decides the name? The guru. You don't say, Swamiji, I like this name. What do you mean I like this name? You're supposed to be free from likes and dislikes. No, you're given a name. And I'm shivering there in the cold because forget shawl and sweater, you're just wearing this, not even a shirt underneath. It's cold. You just got out of the water. Brahmavidananda, the one who knows the truth. I've been saving that name for you. You like it? Yes, Swamiji. I like it. I like it. Definitely, it's a great name. But what I'm trying to say is, you're introducing me with your name. You're not even consulted when you're given that name. Is the name you? Oh, that's just a name. All Swamis are Anandas. Then how do you differentiate one Ananda from another Ananda? Some name has to be given. Then my teacher gives very meaningful names, but they become too long, tongue twisters. Brahmavidananda, Brahma Prakashananda, Brahma Vidyananda. These are easier. Okay. Sat Prakashananda, Brahma Bhutananda. Not that he's become a Bhuta. Brahma. So the idea is, your name, you're not even consulted. क्या बोल रहा है? Someone gave it to you, not you. So समझिए, I'm a doctor. Nice. Camp having a couple of doctors is good. But you became a doctor, na? You existed before. With reference to your knowledge of medicine and your practice as a surgeon, whatever, you're a doctor. It's a role you're playing. Yeah, a role you're playing. And you go to a party. You go to a party because you want to drop all roles. Okay? Just simple person, have some fun. So what do you do? Oh, I'm a doctor. Really? Doctor, I have this backache. I come to drop this and you're catching me. No, my doctorate is in finance. To get away from that. Oh, do you have some interesting tips on the market? People can't drop these things. Roles, Baba, not you. Correct? You pick it up, you drop. Yeah. Husband, wife, roles, no? You picked it up at one time. Sometimes it gets dropped. Sometimes it gets forgotten. You can't forget what you are. You can only forget what you picked up. No? Like I forget my bag here and there. Well, not me, no? So a role you can forget. A role you can drop. You picked it up, you dropped. Why do you want to marry her? No, because I love her. And after some years, I allow her. Let her go. We drop the role. होता है. No, Swamiji, we are all Sanatanis. We are all typical Hindu dharmas, for 7 lifetimes together. Huh? You won't get bored? 7 lifetimes? Okay. I'll take it seriously. 7 lifetimes. It's still finite, no? 7 lifetimes. After that, you drop it, no? Believe me, I knew a couple who, don't ask me how I found out. There are ways for it. This was their last lifetime together. 7th lifetime. They were together for 7 lifetimes. Believe me, they were practically strangers to each other. So completely different. Because you're evolving, no? Lifetime after lifetime. They're so different. I don't know how they got married together this lifetime. I think it was force of habit. Because it is a love marriage. That's why I'm saying force of habit. Now I'm putting it humorously, but these are all cases I have studied. Okay, I'm presenting it as a joke, but the cases I studied, looked at various parameters and all, looked at it. I started by saying, is this 7 lifetimes possible? It's possible, but at the end of it, yeah, it would have been better if they had not got married. I'm sure next lifetime they will never get married. Jokes apart, you picked it up, you can drop it. Okay? Then what you see is what you get, body. And you have two experiences with respect to, two broad experiences with respect to the body. I am fat, I am tall, I am short. I equals body. What a gym session I had yesterday. My whole body is paining. My body. Now tell me which of these two experiences are true? I body or my body? Because when you said it, you meant it. Supposing this guy comes into my whole body. Your whole body, it doesn't look inflamed to me. It's not aching. Let me see. And I catch hold of his biceps. Swamiji, please. I had a lot of arm workout also yesterday. I did a lot of hammer curls and whatever. Bicep curls, hammer curls, all that I did. So you can't deny my body. You can't deny I body also. So then the logic has to come into it. Simple logic we use. I'm intimately connected with my clothes. So what is the minimum requirement to say the clothes are not me? I wore it, I can take it off. I'm aware of this, simple. I'm aware these are my clothes, not I clothes. However intimately they touch me. It is mine, not I. You're aware of your body or you're not aware of the body? You go to a doctor. The doctor, I have a backache. Oh, really? Let's run through some tests. Because nowadays it becomes mandatory almost, like to take tests. So X-rays, MRI, this, that, everything. Then see the tone of the muscle, this, that, etc. So sorry. There's nothing wrong with you. Doctor, it is my back, it is aching. Can the doctor deny your experience? Maybe it's postural. That can happen. Maybe you're sitting too long. Maybe or maybe it's psychological. You go to some of the new age characters, they'll tell you that. Are you having problems of dependency? Reiki masters, etc. And all that new age gamut. What I'm trying to say is you cannot deny the fact that you are aware of this body much more than anybody else is. You're aware of the body, you're not the body. You're aware of your prana, you're not the prana. Breathing. Energy systems in your. You're aware of your mind, your emotions. Why do you want to marry this girl? I love her. How do you know you love her? Can you have an answer? How do you love this girl? Or why do you love this girl? It just happened. As though everything happens without your control. It's your mind, your emotions, you're aware of it. You can explain, you may not be able to explain. Most people say it just happened. It's always a point when you choose, do you want to go further or not? Emotionally, I'm speaking. It's an emotion that grows. Some you don't believe love at first sight. Yeah, I've gone through that also. Love at first sight. But at the same time, I knew I'd taken a choice. Okay, next step, all right. Are you going to give in to that emotion? Yeah, okay. If you're awareful enough, it's there. Knowledge. Are you aware of? No. If I'm not aware of what I know, how can I use it? I can't use it. I must be asleep. If I'm aware and don't know I'm aware, I'm asleep, isn't it? So my knowledge I'm aware of, my emotions I'm aware of. So I'm none of those things. I must be just ignorance. I wish I could agree, but you're aware of your ignorance. Does anybody here know Greek? No. Are you aware of your ignorance of Greek language? Yeah. So you're aware of your ignorance. you're aware of your knowledge, you're aware of your ignorance, then what are you? The person who's conscious of this whole thing. The Sakshi, the witness, if you wanted now. The one who's conscious of the whole thing. Aware of the whole thing. Sam, what are you? Mr. Awarer. You can't even say Mr. Awarer or Miss Awarer, because that is all based on the body and mind. No? Awarer. That is with respect to what you are aware of. An object of awareness, an object of consciousness. With respect to yourself, what you are. Simple consciousness, simple awareness. Sat Pratyaya, what he presents here as Sat and consciousness, one and the same thing. I know, cutting across a lot of topic in the very first verse. All the later verses will explain this various facets of this. Okay. So without this entity, I, the Sat, the consciousness, can there be any forms of consciousness? That means this consciousness is limitless now. No? Because formless is limitless. So what you call consciousness and what you call existence, one and the same thing. Without that, there is no forms of existence. Sat pratyaya kinnu vihaya santam. Can there be any form of existence without that? Swamiji, how to know that? He says, Hrudakyaha Hriddeshu Chinta Rahitaha. It can also be called Akyaha, called as Hrid, the core of what you are. Okay? And where do you find it? Chinta Rahita Hrideshu. Hrid, your heart. Heart meaning what? Your mind. The core of who you are. So these are terms that are used in Vedantic literature. Buddhi Guhayam, Hridaya Guhayam, Buddhi Guhayam. In the cave of the Buddhi, there's no cave in the Buddhi, okay? The cave in the Buddhi means it's a lot of cells have vanished somehow. Okay. Idea is in the core of the Buddhi. Okay? Because anything you say about yourself is a concept. Concept, just a concept. Or they will say Hridaya Guha, heart. Why? Even if you are a rational scientist, when you say I, where do you feel it? I? Or you say I? Where do you feel that I? So, it is only meant for presentation like that, Hridaya. Okay? Because that's where you feel I. Buddhi Guhaya. It's a concept. Chinta Rahita Hrideshu. Where you're not caught up in all your worries and anxieties. Because why is he saying Chinta Rahita? What is it that is pulling you away from yourself? I'm worried about this, I'm worried about that. I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to do that. When you're coming here, you would have seen a lot of coconut trees. If you're coming here from the Silent Valley side, you would have seen more coconut trees. So my teacher used to give this example. Okay. In this area, the coconut tree is called Pakamaram. Maram meaning tree, Paka, coconut. Okay. In Kerala, you find this much more happening. Because we have huge coconut plantations. So one line of trees will be 100 trees. And you harvest them minimum 10 times a year. Someone has to go up and cut down the ripe coconuts. So you'll find him going up one tree. And he gets down after an hour on the 100th tree. He doesn't come down. What does he do? He goes on top, drops the coconut, whatever he has to. He has a sickle in his hand. Then he puts the sickle on the back. Then he'll sway the tree and catch the next tree. He'll catch the next tree and from there, the next one. And you'll go on like this. Exactly what happens to all of us. From one thought to another thought to another thought. Where do you come back to yourself? To what you are? Where do you come back? Between any two thoughts, who is there? What is there? You, the conscious entity. Do you ever come back to that? In meditation, you try to come back to that by cutting down the thought. Otherwise, how does your mind move normally? Oh, Saddarshanam by Ramana Maharshi. Ramana Maharshi, the sage of Arunachala, what a person he was, you know. You sit in front of him, you will feel like you're in total silence also. And so many people came to him, people like Kavya Ganta Ganapati. Oh, he was a great scholar, you know. Tamil, Sanskrit, everything. He had all the Shastras with him, but he had no anubhava of what the reality was. That he got only when he came to Ramana. Yeah, plenty of people got that. There was this American who came, World War expert, Larry. He also came and also. But do Americans really understand Vedanta? Why is it Vedanta not dependent on culture, etc.? You can understand without cultural this thing and that thing. Yeah. But this culture, you know, has something about it. Yeah. But now what Bharatiya culture? It has all become only orthodoxy. Yeah. Oh, this orthodoxy is a big pain. Yes. Where did I start? Saddarshanam. This is not a rehearsed thing, okay? I just let my mind go. With anything it can be. Hey, this is a nice, cute bottle, yeah. Rockstar, Bisleri, Rockstar. What is Rockstar and Bisleri about? I thought Rockstar, etc., was people like the Beatles, my time. After that, now there are other characters coming up. I don't know who they are. Madonna, I heard about. And then something. I don't know what it is. There seems to be more action than music there, you know. Why do you have to dance about when you are doing music? Why can't you just sit and sing like how our classical singer? But that is because they are also entertainers. They have to entertain people. Why do you have to entertain? This is something for understand. Water. I'm just showing you how the mind works if it is not disciplined. Look at the conversations we have. We started with something and end up with something else. No? So what takes you away from yourself? And what is the logic behind it? There's no logic. It's just associative thinking. Just thinking association. This brand, Rockstar, from there we went to the Beatles, to Madonna, and what else? Can go into other things. Then it can become social gossip about Madonna. He says, this is what is keeping you away. This is called Chinta. Rahitaha. At least come to the ground reality. Water. Then next thought. And next thought. Then you will find you are not going like that. You're consciously sticking to the topic. I always tell in my classes now, learn to go to the core issue. What is it? How do you go to the core issue? Take that grounded. Then you'll come to the core issue without any problems. Yeah. Therefore, chinta rehita hridayeshu hridagyaha. Okay. So there is where, that is I, the consciousness. But this consciousness I is shrouded in ignorance. You don't know who you are. Okay, just 2 minutes more. Does anyone here doubt I am, I exist? Are you there? देख के बताता हूँ. I'll sleep and tell you. No, not necessary. No, I am there. How do you say you are there? Because I'm married, and girls today are very smart. They won't marry non-existent. Do you have to say that? What I'm trying to say is, do you need any logic to prove your existence? I am is self-evident. How do you know did you see yourself? Did you smell yourself? Swamiji, that's why I'm wearing all this deo and things like that. This is, my jokes come when I let the mind go. Then I pull it back to the topic. The joke is meant to illustrate something. You can't see, you can't smell, you can't hear. Though some people sleeping we can hear. But that is not what the I is. Do you infer you exist? No, there is no need for logic, etc. Presumption, logic, deductive logic, not necessary. I am is self-evident. I am is self-evident. The problem comes in what I am. मैं कौन हूं in Hindi? Who am I? Then I'll be like that mystical singer Bulla. Bulla na jane मैं कौन हूं. Bulla doesn't know who I am. I know I am not this, I am not this, I am not that. But who are you? I don't know. There is where the Vedanta Pramana comes in. To understand who I am. To understand I am, I don't need Vedanta. I know I am. Thank God. Otherwise, Vedanta also will not work. I'll show you later how it won't work. If you don't know I am, Vedanta will not work in terms of who I am. Therefore, here comes the Vedanta Pramana to understand. So how that whole process goes, etc., we will see in the next class.